If you're listening on Mixcloud or on the podcast, these shows go out on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. repeat at 2 o'clock on Duggystone Radio. We're freaking global. They're designed to entertain you, keep you informed, and help you along in your business. Should you have one? Or should you want to start one? That's what it's all about. We're trying to encourage people to expand what they're doing, think about things a bit differently. I need to find any post I put on the other day, because I did ask for some topics for this week's shows. There was something on about branding. There was some stuff about Brexit. Really interesting. I've not got a phoning guest today, but I could do with one tomorrow probably. So if you're out there and you want to be a phoning guest, let me know. The Duggystone Show. You're the best thing. Absolutely wonderful. So what's good with you today, people? Hope your business is rocking. There was stuff that was talking about the other day. I'm still trying. There was one about branding, about your personal branding, or your branding for your business, and that can take some time to evolve. Your personal brand is not just about your logo. I think people can confuse the word branding with branding. Do you know what I mean? So you brand your business up compared to what you want it to be, what you perceive it to be. So we've got a lot of Duggystone Radio stuff, got freaking global, as you know. We've got the logos. If you check our logos out, we've got one with a microphone or a speaker on there, and that's the sort of feel that we wanted. But your brand is more than just your logo or what's on your business cards. It's about what you do. It's about how you're perceived by others. It's not about how you think you are or what you think you do. It's how others perceive you. So just have a think about some of the brands out there. What do you think about Apple when you think about Apple? What is their brand about? What do you perceive them to be? They've spent a lot of time and effort and energy getting you to feel that and think that way, and that's cost them billions and billions of dollars. But what is their brand all about? You know, it's down to what everything you do and your brand has to follow through. So let's take Apple as an example. As our would say, sheep. And a lot of people have followed suit with what they're doing. Is everything your brand has to follow through, even to your packaging. So the feel that you get when you get an iPhone, you pull the box. They've spent a fortune on that packaging, so that when that box is open, you get that. You know what I mean? You can feel it resisting pulling it off. And they've designed that, and that's took a lot of time to do that. And the way all the packaging fits together. So the brand, there's no point in having that. Whichever manufacturer is an amazing iPhone, and they give it you in a brown paper bag, you won't be too pleased with it, or a brown box with a load of that foamy stuff on that looks a bit like white Wotsits. You wouldn't be pleased with that, would you? Or some bubble wrap around it. Here's your phone. But if it's a cheaper brand, you wouldn't be bothered. You know what I mean? But you expect that quality. You're expecting the quality, so your brand has to follow through. Yeah. So you could even have your and then you put your branding on other stuff, like Eddie's just sent me a message. You could have your car branded up with Duggystone Radio all over it, couldn't you? Brilliant. Yeah. So branding is more than just your logo. It's everything you do, everything you touch, what you talk about. You know, that you can't be an ethical business. If you say you're an ethical business and then do things that are not ethical, doesn't fit with your brand. So everything you do has to follow through. If you're a premium quality brand, every single thing, all your documentation, your website, your business cards, the way you dress, the way your offices look, what car you drive, everything has to follow through. Yeah, you can't say and I know people get het up about cars. You can't say we're this quality product, and then all your managers or your team are driving around in smashed up 20-year-old vehicles with doors hanging off. Can you? Everything has to follow through. Look at Apple's corporate offices and what they've done now. They're moving to that big complex. Hopefully that makes sense. So branding is not just about your brand, as in your business cards, your logos, whatever you're doing there. It's what you do. Yeah, what is your brand? And over time, that develops from feedback from your customers, what you're doing. As an example, I do a networking group at 4 Networking over at Leamington Breakfast, and my team's been together. I've been running that group for about 3 years now. I had 9 people when I first started. We get 20. The least we get about between 18 and 30 people coming to that group. We've got a good core of people. But what's happened over a period of time with the team members, we've built this brand has sort of developed that we didn't sort of intend. I wanted the meeting to be fun, entertaining, and for people to make business and connections with. And that was my idea for that meeting. And we've achieved that. We really have achieved it. But what sort of happened over a period of time is we started doing things to sort of help people. And if you've seen some stuff on Facebook, we've now themed our meetings. We don't theme the meetings. We normally dress up or do something. It might even be just dead simple, like, I don't know, a paper crown that whatever the foresighter or the person doing the keynote's talking about. And it's turned into our brand. Now, our brand is what we do. We have a lot of fun on the meeting, and it's just develops over time. And people are telling us what the meeting is. We're not telling them. We've facilitated them to imagine. Duggystone Show. Calm down. Another one coming on then. Hey, so yeah, we're talking a bit about branding today. Well, I am anyway. So how to develop a strong brand identity. Know who you are, people. Before you know what tangible elements you want to make up your brand identity, you need to know who you are as a brand. And that's so important. Who you are as a brand is made up of a few elements. Your mission, what's your why? So why are you doing what you're doing? Our why and the station, as I said before, is to connect the planet and promote unsigned artists. Your values, what's your values and beliefs? This is very important, especially about some stuff that's gone off this weekend. I'm not going to get into that too much, but what's your beliefs drives your company? Your brand personally, if your brand was a person, what kind of person personality would it have? That's a really great one. So if you was a person, this thing you're making, what personality would it have? Would it be fun, go-getter, go out there, go-getter? Or would it be very reserved and very quiet spoken and very posh? What would it be? Yeah? Or would it be, you know what I mean? Would it be shorts, trainers and a baseball cap? What would it be? Your unique positioning. How do you differ from yourself? So what's different about you to everybody else? That's very important. What makes you different? Why should people come and spend money with you? Your brand voice. If your brand was a person, how would it communicate? These elements are what drive your brand. And before you start building your brand identity, it's important to have a clear understanding. Because what I was saying before is you might think it's X, but if you're portraying Y, then your brand will come over differently, won't it? Ask yourself this, people. Why did we start this business? What our beliefs and values are is important to us as a company. And just one mistake, I'm just going to see if anyone's listening and knows what I'm talking about. Just one mistake or one people misinterpret something does not mean that's the end of it. Everyone makes mistakes, don't we? We all make mistakes. Do you know the only way we learn, people, is by making mistakes, making errors. It's the only way we develop as individuals, as companies, as brands, as a society, as a global collective. We have to make mistakes. If we didn't make the mistakes that we make, we'd just be sat in a corner twiddling our thumbs. So I'll say, what do you do better than anyone else? So what do you do on your business do than anyone else? What is it? What makes us special? So what makes our brand special? I think what we do, we've got there might be people doing something similar to us, but we've got presenters across the planet. We've got artists across the planet. I think that makes us pretty special. If we could describe our brand in 3 words, what would it be like? What would it be? Now, this is important, and this is something that goes back to years when I've done lots of management stuff as well. Think about it. Beans means Heinz. That's another way of thinking about stuff like that. But in 3 words, what would it be? So beans means Heinz, yeah? So, but what's he saying to you? Well, if you want, you're going to get baked beans, buy Heinz beans. I know a lot of people don't get it on other parts of the world, but we do like our beans in tomato sauce in the UK. So what it is in 3 words, keep it dead simple for people. Think about other big brands out there. What do they do? You know, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what some of the brand taglines. That's what it is. It's the tagline. Keep it very simple in 3 words. Right. You can also check out, well, here we go. Design the foundation of your branding. Just like your Adidas built the brand identity of your middle school star athletes persona, your design is what you will build your brand identity of the company. Your design assets are tangible elements that will determine how your brand is perceived. Things like logos, your packaging, been all through this, aren't they, people? Your web design, your social media graphics, your business cards, they all have to fit, yeah? What your employees wear. In other words, nailing your design, nailing your brand identity. Oh, I'd tell you what, a quick plug. Karen Blake Design. She's freaking awesome. She's done all those designs. I won't go anywhere else. Karen Blake Designs. in the Midlands. Brilliant. Go check it out. A bit of information for you. Building a sexual brand means, so you've got, it's how you perceived, isn't it? Like I said before, you wouldn't give your, I don't know, if you were selling Porsche cars or, I'm going high end here, you wouldn't be in some back street somewhere with you know what I mean? You wouldn't happen, would it? Would not happen. I mean, I know they do it in London where the type of space might have just one car, but you wouldn't just have this back street place with balloons outside and bunting, would you, selling Porsches? It has to all fit together, people. I hope I'm making sense. I'll tell you what, typography is very important as well. We've got our own brand design. This is why you need to get a designer involved. Get a designer involved and look at your branding from the text that you're using, because what should happen, if you look at our branding and our text, we've got brand designs, which means brand guidelines. So if any of the presenters or anyone we're working with, we say, can you produce me this? We say, here's our brand guidelines. They know what colour we use. They know what fonts we use. And you might think, why would you want to do that? It makes sense, because what should happen over a period of time, just think about some of the big brands like Virgin or Coca-Cola. You only have to see an element of their branding to know what it is. As an example, Cadbury's chocolate, don't know if you know, little known fact, the blue of Cadbury's chocolate on their packaging, as they have got that that's theirs. They specifically designed that blue colour, and it is copyrighted. So as soon as you see that colour, it reminds you of Cadbury's chocolate. Yeah. So this takes up over a period of time, people gets into people's subconscious. But remember, your time, don't just use the common fonts on there. Get a designer to go and get you some fonts and some colours and put it together. So your colour palette's very important on your branding. What else we're talking about? And also, this is quite interesting as well, a lot of products and services follow the same sort of branding, same feel. So you identify, and until I've probably told you, you might not realise it, but look at packets of cereal, breakfast cereal. Similar breakfast cereals will have very, very similar packaging, because that's the feel of what the breakfast cereal is. It sort of feels like you know it because you've seen it so many times. Just today, go around and start looking at things like leaflets and magazines. Look at the branding. Look at what they're trying to portray. I'm looking some stuff around in the office. Yeah, I've got one, which is for, I'm not even going to name the company, but it's a leaflet. It's a booklet that comes round, and it's trying to sell you, they keep you in touch with them and their products. And it's a bulk buy bargain book, a magazine for all electrical equipment. So they're not high end. They're selling decent quality stuff, but it's cheap. It's a budget company selling budget products. So the branding is very just. It's just that it's a bit clunky, but it doesn't matter because it fits with it. But so today, just have a look at some of the things that are around your office and how people have got their designs together and what they're trying to do. And more often than not, the simplest of designs they cost a fortune, and it takes someone a lot of effort and energy to give you a very simple design. I was watching something at the weekend, and that's one reason why I want to talk about it. I think it was Sky One. I was watching some on Sky One, and it just says Sky One, and the colour palette's blue and white. And I said to my wife Sandra, I said, wow, that's very clever, because that's a dead simple logo. It's white, it's blue. Go on next time you look at it. But the background to it was blue as well. Now, it was virtually the same colour, but slightly offset, so you could still see the Sky One logo on the blue background. It is blue on a blue background. So just little things like that, and I think that's really important. Design, it's worth paying for a designer to design some of your stuff. If you're gonna spend any money anywhere, spend it on your design, because that will set you forward for the rest of your branding that you're going to do, because then you know what fonts to use, what colours to use, etc., etc. Hopefully that makes
The Duggystone Show.
There you go. We could be heroes, people. We could be, and you could be. Whoa, hey, pack it in. What's happened there? The immune system this morning, it's playing tricks on me, people. Made a mistake. It happens, doesn't it? Yeah, move on from it. We can only learn from mistakes, people. That's the thing with your branding. You might make some mistakes with your branding, but just give it a go. Things might work, things don't work. And there's no harm in having something and then reworking it. If you've got a branding, I did have original branding and decided to change it slightly and have some different work done on it. So there's no harm. You'll see companies over a period of time look back at the original, I don't know, Microsoft logos and branding, what they were back in, I don't know, the 80s, 90s, whatever, 80s and 90s, and what they are today, and things do change. So you can actually change your branding. It'd be easy. It's easier for smaller companies than it is for big organisations. I used to work for global businesses, and as an example, we used to have a few thousand vehicles in the UK, and another company took over. They didn't just come in and say, "Oh, do you know what? We want more rebranding in our colours." Because there was two reasons for that. We had a strong brand presence in the UK with our branding and our logo and our names, and also the cost would have been phenomenal. So what they did, they started any new vehicles that came in, they started to reliver it, and then what that does, that slowly gets people into this new company taking over. So don't be afraid of rebranding, but just realise when you do rebrand, there's a cost to it, because you've got to think about everything that you've done. So try and get it right the first time, yeah?
The Duggystone Show.
Right, so branding. So that's what I've been covering. So I'm trying to just not just go over too many things and bombard everyone with stuff. So try and keep the shows to one sort of theme. And I think, in a nutshell, your brand identity is what sets you apart from the endless sea of competitors and shows your customers who you are and what they can expect from working with you. And if you want your brand to be perceived in a positive light, it is crucial that you nail your branding. Definitely. And create designs that accurately portray who you are to your customers. And now that you know how to nail that identity, it's time to start designing. Do you know what? Don't do it yourself, people. It'll look shocking. Unless you're a designer, then that's a totally different kettle of fish. Get designers to do it for you. Seriously, get someone to do your designs. Don't start doing it yourself. You'll spend loads of time on it and it'll look shocking. I guarantee it. It will look like... I don't know. What's the images that everyone used to use? What's it in the Word document in Microsoft Word and the images? It'll look like that. It'll look shocking. So if you're after that sort of feeling, that's your business, fine. If you budget low end everyday essentials, like in the major supermarkets, they have everyday essentials on it. Plain packaging which just says everyday essentials. In other words, yeah. You put your own words into it. But if, that appeals to some people, it might be that's all they can afford. Might be they're quite happy to have that. And then you go from the normal stuff, if you like, and then you've got the specially selected type activity. Just think about that in supermarkets, what you've got as well. And the branding, why do they brand and what does a brand look like? So what is your business about? Remember what I was saying before. If it was a person, what personality would it be, your business? If it was being able to speak, what would it sound like? How would it interact? What would his voice be? You've got to really think about these things. So make your business think of it like a person. What is it? It'll become its own identity and it'll evolve into its own thing. Like I said before, you've got things with the radio station, what we want our station to be. It's about being global, it's fun, it's connecting the planet, it's based on artists, and it's this togetherness. So what's happened is we have got presenters that fall into that ethos and what we're doing. We never go out to deliberately try and offend everyone. We have explicit shows on at late at night, so you don't have to, if you don't like them, we tell you that they're explicit. But people should know, come along, what this station is about and what the feel is. So we've got people gravitating towards us now, new presenters, because they go, we like what you're about, we like this inclusiveness, we like what you're doing, we want to stick with you. We've lost a few along the way, like you will in everything. You will lose customers along the way, you'll lose business acquaintances, you'll lose staff. And that's good. That's good because I used to say when I worked for TNT Logistics, I used to work for TNT Logistics, and I said it to the directors, some of the directors, because he used to say something to me, because I used to go in and sort things out. I used to, yeah, I'm a nice guy, but when people do something wrong and it's sort of against anything, they had to go, or a closed contracts down, what have you. And I used to say, listen, every forest, because we used to have a lot of homegrown timber, and I used to say, but every forest needs a woodcutter. You need to cut things out sometimes. You can't just let it grow, otherwise it'll just ramble out of control. A bit like I do when I'm talking. So branding is crucial. Start with the basics first. Understand what you're about. Understand what look you're going for. Understand what your customers are and how, whatever happens in your industry, have a different. You don't have to be the same as everybody else. Well, what's the feel in that industry? What's the sort of things that other people use? And then it makes it easier for other people to identify because they're already used to it. You can go in with a big shocking thing, with bright colours when everyone else is normally dull, but just be careful you don't turn too many people off that you encourage. So it's a real skill set of understanding what you're trying to do, what your brand you're trying to perceive, because otherwise, if you're a bit ambiguous about it and you're a bit fluffy about what you're trying to achieve, everyone else will decide what your branding is, and ultimately that's what will happen anyway. People will decide if you're ethical, if you're not, if you're a good company to work with. That other people will tell you. You'll soon find out, because people will vote with their feet because they don't have to spend money with you, do they? Not at all, not in this day and age. They've got lots of choice, so you need to be. Everything you do needs to follow a certain path and a certain look. Right, that's enough of that. Where we going?
The Duggystone Show.
And also think about your branding, what it's about, what you're trying to perceive. This is sort of moving you forward. If you're looking to gain more customers, what are those customers you're trying to gain? What do they like? What do you think they like? And how can you appeal to them? So it might be that you have to change your branding slightly. It might be you have to look at your personal voice of your business and do some work in that area. What would your look and sound like? So really go back to your branding and the whole reason why you started your business. What was the why behind it? And just make sure that your brand or your branding portrays that ethos and what you're trying to achieve. Hopefully does that make sense, people? Does that make sense? I hope it does. It's really important. Really, really, really important. And people get a bit... I know people think I'm a bit hapstack and go lucky with some stuff, but I've been a lot of time around designers in the corporate world. We used to have... presentations. We used to have to do PowerPoint presentations, and you could go to any manager's PowerPoint presentation anywhere in the company. They'd all be the same. Why? Because we had a company template. This was the font you had to use. This was the size of lettering you had to use. This was the colour. And actually, we're going to give you a template to use anyway. And if you do anything outside that, any signage on buildings has to be the same. Just your colour. If you got... I had some T-shirts done a bit back, and when she was doing the embroidery, it was a sample one, and she brought a colour out. She went, "Oh, that's it." I said, "That's not the orange." She went, "Yes, it is." I said, "No, it's not. I can tell it's not the orange." She didn't have the specific orange that I needed, but she found one that she had to order it in the end. She said, "Oh, is it this one?" I went, "Yeah, that's it." So she had to order this bobbin of cotton for me, because if she did it in that orange, it wouldn't have looked right. It'd have been offensive to me, but everybody else as well would be going, they get confused because they're going, "Hang on a minute, that's not your colour." Yeah, it's not your colour. It's a bit like a football team. If one of your famous football teams decided and they walked out and their kit was a different colour, slightly different colour, you'd be like, what's going on there? It just doesn't fit with the branding, does it? Yeah. Really think about your branding. And today and for the rest of the week, that's part of your homework. What you're doing. What do you look like? What are you trying to perceive? What customer are you trying to get? Go right back to it. Go and find a good designer to redesign your stuff, or someone you've worked with before, and make sure that whatever it is flows through your business, from the way you interact, the way you speak, your packaging, your logos, your business cards, your shirts, whatever. It all has to flow through. Yeah, all has to flow through. Can't emphasize it enough. Your brand has to flow through.
The Duggystone Show.
On vinyl, people. Well, what are these? I know my lad asked me ages ago. I've got a load of them in the studio. My lad said, "Dad, what's this?" I said, "That's a single. It's a vinyl single." "What is it? How many songs is that?" I says, 2, one on the front, one on the back. It's amazing, isn't it? Think how things have moved on. It's just, I know I mentioned it before. I'll tell you what, let's go to a day of the week and tell you what's going on. So let's pick Monday. So Monday, what's good on a Monday? Oh, well, 8 o'clock, you've got the 8s at 8. Then you've got 10 o'clock, you've got the business show with me. Then at 11, you have a show from Eddie King. He does 4 shows a week. He follows the business shows. Then we have our just normal playlist rocking. Then we've got the Unsigned Artist show at 1 o'clock till 2. That's brilliant. Business show repeats at 2 to facilitate our American listeners and for people that miss it because they've been out networking or something. Then we've got our youngest presenter, Miss Leah, 3 till 5 on Monday. Oh my God, that is just amazing. She just played the odd expletive song, so don't get too upset. But what a show! Listen to that. If you've never listened to it before, you've got to tune into that. Then at 6 p.m. on a Monday, these are all UK times. You've got the New Country Show, which is hosted by myself and sometimes by Duggystone. Then we go right to Scotland with Rob Levitt and his music. Oh, I'll tell you what, Rob's brilliant. It does a great show. Barely audible Rob, we call him sometimes. Then Eddie King's back at 10. That's how Monday looks like. So if you just go to duggystoneradio.com, Duggystone, that's Duggystone Radio, you'll find all the playlists, what we're doing, any events we've got going on. If you listen on Mixcloud, please subscribe. And if you listen on the podcast on the station, please subscribe to us and download the freaking global apps, people. Hey, breaking news. Michelle Ibbs from the UK Networking has worked out how to get her Alexa to play Duggystone Radio. So if you've got an Alexa, all you need to do is go on. You should be able to just say Duggystone Radio, but for some reason, it's something to do with tuning radio and Alexa not talking to each other properly. So we've had our own Alexa skill created. Now, if you've not got an Alexa, you won't have a clue what I'm talking about. But if you have, what's an Alexa skill? Well, I'll tell you. It's a bit like an app that you have on your mobile phone. So if you've got an Alexa, you know what I'm talking about. There's the Alexa app. Go to the menu, scroll down to skills, because a skill is an app on the Alexa. Search Duggystone Radio, Duggystone Radio, Duggystone Radio. Click Enable, and then all you have to do, go to your Alexa and go, Alexa, open Duggystone Radio, and she'll play Duggystone Radio. Brilliant. Please try it. Let us know how you get on with that. It's a great little thing we've had developed, and it's totally free, same as the apps. No push notifications. They're there, designed just to help you connect to us. That's it. Simple as that. Because part of our branding is being about access, isn't it? And being good eggs. So we try and do something to help you. So just rewinding a little bit, just talk a bit about your logo, because I think I missed this. I didn't miss it, but a little bit more detail. So your logo is a cornerstone of your brand identity. Your logo, start with your logo. When working your design, you want to aim your logo to tick off the following boxes. Clear communicates who you are and what your values are as a brand. Is visual appealing, simple, clean and uncluttered, goes a long way. Is it classic or not trendy? What do you want to do? Because you don't want something that's trendy in 6 months, it goes out of style. Yeah, does that make sense? You don't want something in 6 months and people go, well, that's old hat. Plays along with your industry standard. I think I mentioned that before. And if you veer off, do so deliberately. So just be careful. I mean, you have to make a conscious decision if you're going to do this. If, for example, I don't know, your industry tends to use, I don't know, beige or purple or whatever, and you veer off, or it has a certain feel to its logos, then you tend to follow that. If you veer off, you need to do it deliberately. You need to make a lasting impression on your audience. So, like I said before, some of the major brands, very simple. You only have to see an element of their branding, their logo, to recognise who they are. Because there's apps out there and the games where you can go, they show you little elements of a logo and say, which company is this? Right. So it's been all about branding this morning. Branding and nothing else. Right, another track. I think we're getting to the point where we're just playing music now, because we're getting towards the end of this amazing show.
The Duggystone Show.
Killer. Love it. Absolutely love it. What have we got left? Oh, we've got less than a minute left. So stay tuned, people. Lots of great music on the station today.